Have you experienced those cringe-worthy, awkward moments that make you want to disappear and wish that you could handle them with a lot more ease and confidence? What if I told you that the key to incredible confidence is hidden in those very moments of awkwardness? In this video, I am going to share some powerful strategies to transform your most uncomfortable experiences into your greatest assets. Now, if you've watched me here on YouTube before, then welcome back. But if you are new to my channel, then welcome. I am Dr. Kim Foster, and I'm an MD turned coach and wellness expert. Now let's talk about how to transform awkwardness into unshakable confidence. I've got a 5-part step-by-step process backed by science and put into practice by myself and my clients and students. So make sure that you stick around for all 5 steps. Step 1 is to understand what awkwardness is. So I think that most of us are familiar with the feeling of awkwardness, but where does it come from? Why does it happen? Understanding that is the first step to transforming your awkwardness. Simply put, awkwardness arises when we feel out of place or unsure of ourselves or worried about how other people perceive us. It's a universal experience, and it is something that everyone encounters at some point. You're in the middle of a conversation at a wedding reception with somebody that you don't really know, and you're trying to make some small talk, but then the conversation just kind of fizzles and a big awkward silence opens up. Or another example, you arrive at a party. You weren't really sure if you actually wanted to go, but you did anyway, and just like you suspected, you don't know anyone there. You walk in, you're looking around, everyone seems to know each other, and you just don't know what to do with yourself. Should you just pull out your phone? Should you head straight for the bar? You don't know what to do with your hands anymore. These moments can feel super excruciating, but they're also completely normal. In fact, they're part of what makes us human. So why do we feel this way? Well, psychologists have found that awkwardness stems from our brain's natural reaction to social situations. We are hardwired to seek acceptance and avoid rejection. So when we think that we have messed up socially, our brains signal discomfort. A lot of discomfort. We're hardwired for this because in our primitive brain, being rejected or kicked out of the tribe means death, essentially. Back in prehistoric times, if you got rejected and sent away, then you were not going to make it out there on your own. So the deepest parts of our brains really do perceive social awkwardness as a potentially life-threatening situation. Really understanding this fact is what will help you with step 2, which is to normalize and embrace awkwardness. So embracing awkwardness might sound really counterintuitive, but it's actually a powerful step towards building confidence. When you normalize the feeling of awkwardness and just recognize that it is completely human and everyone feels the same feeling at one point or another, it means that you're not wrong for feeling awkward. You haven't failed, and you don't need to beat yourself up. Instead of feeling ashamed of awkward moments, you're just going to acknowledge them as just a natural part of life. All of us, even the most confident people, experience these moments. By accepting awkwardness, you reduce its power over you. So let me share a personal story. Several years ago, I was in New York City and I was attending a networking event at a big writing conference. I didn't know anyone there. I sort of wandered around the room trying to come up with some way of entering one of the many lively conversations that seemed to be happening with all these glamorous book and publishing people. And inside, I was just dying with awkwardness, and I was beating myself up big time. You don't belong here. What are you doing? But then I noticed that a few other people looked equally uncomfortable and also seemed to be wandering aimlessly. And honestly, once I really stopped and paid attention to even some of the people who were wrapped up in conversation, they also seemed to be kind of fidgeting a bit and making that kind of awkward, forced laughter. And then I realized, wait, this is a writer's conference. For the most part, all these people are introverts. None of us love this whole chit-chat networking thing, but we're all just out here trying. And realizing that totally defused the situation for me. I realized that I wasn't alone in feeling awkward. Most likely, everyone was feeling that to a certain degree. So this mindset shift from seeing awkwardness as a failure to viewing it as a human experience can transform how you handle these situations. Embrace the discomfort and see it as an opportunity to grow and learn. Remember, awkwardness is just a sign that you are stepping out of your comfort zone, which is really what you have to do to grow. When you feel that squirmy feeling rising up, rather than taking it to mean that something has gone wrong, take it to mean that you are getting another chance to practice your social skills and get better. Also, as part of the embracing step, I want you to practice radical self-acceptance. This is when you truly own it. Embrace your awkwardness fully. Confidence comes from accepting yourself as you are, quirks and all. When you own your awkwardness, it becomes much less of a flaw and more of a unique personality trait. Celebrate what makes you unique, including your quirks and your awkward moments. Self-compassion is crucial when dealing with awkwardness. Being kind to yourself can significantly lessen the negative impact of these moments and really improve your resilience. Replace negative self-talk with positive affirmation. Instead of saying, "I'm so awkward," try, "I'm learning and improving every day." Making this kind of shift in your mindset is not easy. So if you want some more guided support with this, then I invite you to go ahead and download my free workbook called Change Your Mindset, Change Your Life. I'll go ahead and put the link in the description box. Okay, so now that we have understood and embraced awkwardness, next up is to start to transform that awkwardness into true confidence, which is step 3, focus on other people. So I touched on this in the previous step when I was at that writers event in New York City, when I stopped being so inside my own head and instead started to actually look outwards at the other people that were there. And this is so key. One of the ways that we make these situations even more difficult for ourselves is when we are just so inside our own heads, beating ourselves up, cringing at ourselves, checking in with ourselves about how we look, how we sound, and that non-stop narrative inside our heads prevents us from noticing what's actually going on around us, which means we miss things. We miss social cues. We're not listening to what other people are saying, and we miss the fact that somebody else is standing by the punch bowl all by themselves. So you need to train yourself to stop thinking obsessively about yourself and instead shift your focus outwards on other people, which is going to massively reduce your self-consciousness. This dovetails with mindfulness, which is staying present with what is happening right now. So do a little exercise with yourself. Really look at the other people in a room. Notice things and say things to yourself like, "Oh, I like that woman's dress," or "Oh, the food on that table looks delicious." That will get you actually paying attention to what is happening outside of yourself. Also, when you're talking to someone, really listen. Don't think about what you need to say next or how you look, but really pay attention to what they are saying. Becoming a pro at listening is such a secret weapon at reducing anxiety and self-consciousness because you don't have to perform or be brilliant. You're just listening attentively, and naturally, this will mean that you'll come up with thoughtful comments or questions just to continue the conversation in an organic way. Okay, so let's move on to step number 4, which is leaning in to awkwardness. This is a powerful strategy that involves embracing and even amplifying awkward moments to completely disarm their negative impact and turn them into opportunities for connection and confidence. So what does this look like? Well, let's take the example of being at the wedding reception, trying to make small talk that falls really flat, and then that big awkward silence follows. Well, the first thing that you can do is just call it out. Recognizing and openly acknowledging the awkward moments can totally diffuse the tension and show that you're comfortable with yourself. Simply state the obvious verbally. If you say, "Well, this is awkward, isn't it?" a lot of times that just completely breaks the ice and lightens the mood, and other people visibly relax and laugh. You can then turn that awkward moment into an opportunity to just redirect the focus. Shift the topic to something that you're more comfortable discussing. You could say something like, "So have you seen any great movies lately?" Leaning into awkwardness can also look like you embracing your vulnerability. This is not easy and definitely feels counterintuitive, but showing vulnerability can turn awkward moments into authentic connections. If you're feeling awkward, chances are other people are too. Sharing your feelings can create a sense of camaraderie. This is actually what I did at the networking event in New York City. I chose one of the other people who was just kind of hovering around alone, looking uncomfortable just like me, and I went up to her and I said, "God, I always get so nervous at these events, don't you?" She immediately relaxed, let out a huge sigh, and then we just started chatting and joking about the best ways to work a room and survive these kinds of events. When you just own it and call it out. It's totally disarming and creates an actual connection. We have this impulse when we're feeling awkward and uncomfortable to try to hide it and to put on a facade. Why? We're all the same, as we talked about in the first step. We all feel it, and by you just openly admitting that you feel awkward or uncomfortable is just showing your humanity rather than pretending that you are somehow immune to these human feelings that we all have. And you have to trust that other people can definitely relate to this. Another strategy is to leverage humor. Humor can be a powerful tool in defusing awkward situations and turning them into positive experiences. Self-deprecating humor almost always goes over well. Just lightly joking about your own awkwardness can put other people at ease and also shows that you are comfortable with yourself. Learning how to laugh at yourself is a really great skill to have. When you show that you can laugh at your own expense, this not only lightens the mood, but also shows others that you are not taking yourself too seriously. You can even share funny stories about past awkward moments. This can make you much more relatable and also demonstrate that awkwardness is just part of being human. Or just find the funny side in a situation. Look for humor in whatever is going on. Laughing at the absurdity of a moment can instantly make things much less tense. Okay, let's move on to step number 5, which is to learn and grow from awkward situations. So as you're on this journey of transforming awkwardness into confidence, it's super important to view awkward moments as valuable learning experiences. I want you to embrace a growth mindset about this, not a fixed mindset that says, I'm awkward and it will always be like this, but instead have a growth mindset that says, I'm learning how to become more confident. I'm learning how to embrace awkward situations and turn them around. One of the best things to do is to reflect on the situation. After an awkward encounter, just reflect on what happened and why it felt awkward. This can help you to better understand your social triggers and improve your responses. Now, this is not an invitation to ruminate and to play things over and over in your mind and beat yourself up. We are not doing that. This is just reflecting with curiosity and without judgment. Interesting. What made me say that? Or talk to that person? Or bolt for the restroom? Or whatever. From there, finding ways to implement practice and exposure is going to take everything to the next level. Like any skill, social confidence improves with practice and exposure. The more you expose yourself to social situations, the more comfortable you're going to become. So begin with low pressure environments to practice your social skills. Engage in small talk with a barista, a coworker, or a neighbor. Gradually increase the complexity of the interactions as you become more comfortable. Set specific, achievable goals for yourself. For example, you could aim to start one conversation with at least one new person at your next social event. If you need more exposure, try joining some groups or clubs that interest you and really push yourself out of your comfort zone regularly. Attend networking events, consider joining public speaking clubs like Toastmasters, or volunteer for leadership roles at work. Each experience is going to build your confidence and reduce your fear of awkwardness. And again, after each social interaction, take a moment to just reflect on what went well and what could be improved. Bottom line here is that awkwardness is a natural part of life, but it does not have to hold you back. Remember, confidence isn't about never feeling awkward. It's about how you handle those moments. The next time that you find yourself in an awkward situation, just take a deep breath, smile, and know that you are on the path to greater confidence and personal growth. As always, I'd love to hear from you. I'd love it if you would share your own experiences in the comments below. And I would love to hear how you are turning awkwardness into confidence. And as I mentioned, if you want to take a deeper dive into this, don't forget to download my free workbook, Change Your Mindset, Change Your Life, by just clicking the link in the description below. And if you enjoyed this video, you are going to love the one that I am going to share on the screen next, where I reveal my top 6 confidence secrets. I will see you there. Embracing awkwardness might sound a bit counterintuitive. Not just a bit, but a lot. Okay, hang on. Water break. You're just listening attentively and naturally. This will mean, no. All right, that's a wrap.